Hi, I'm Brien Lundin of Gold Newsletter, and I am here at the Toronto Metals Investor Forum, where I have the great pleasure of talking with Chad Peters of Ridgeline Metals. Ridgeline has been a company in our Gold Newsletter portfolio for a few years now, I guess.
Yep.
What I found originally so interesting and exciting about it was you had projects in really a great place, Nevada.
Yep.
But more than that, you were in the big districts. You had the kinds of concepts and geology that the majors were looking for, and at an earlier stage. You now have, in that interim, attracted some wonderful JV partners.
Yep.
Have a lot of money being put into the ground in a formula that has resulted in success. I know in our Gold Newsletter portfolio over and over again, in that you're getting the big guys to put a lot of money in the ground on good targets, good geological theories, and that tends to result in discoveries. And I think you're on the verge. I mean, in one of the projects we'll get into,
continue. I like
you
that.
have you do have a discovery at Salina, but you have a bigger idea or theory to prove there. But the important thing to me is that these are monster kinds of deposits and targets you're talking about. Success will be easily transformational for the company. So let's talk about those in whatever order you see fit, because you've got 4 great targets, great projects getting work done right now.
No, absolutely. And I think, I actually started the company just being a straight, drill and kill explorer, right?
Yeah.
Just, hey, we're going to own everything 100%. What you realize very quickly over time is we were going after, like you said, very big concepts. We're trying to chase the kind of projects that Barrick, Newmont's, the
expensive exploration,
and so you realize pretty quickly that if you want to go after these high risk but high upside kind of opportunities, you have to have partners, or an incredible market, which we didn't have at the time. So what we've done is by inking these 3 deals, totaling about $60 million US in total expenditures, we've been able to offset a lot of that early risk that comes along with trying to make these discoveries. And on top of that, we've structured the deals in a way that give Ridgeline a carried interest all the way to commercial production on each one. And I can't emphasize enough how important that is. I mean, a lot of folks, you get an incredible torque on a stock.
You get diluted out of everything.
And then the company gets diluted out, right?
Yeah.
Shareholders get destroyed on the back end. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to build a real business here and make real discoveries. And I think we're on the verge of one at our Swift project, which Nevada Gold Mines, which is a joint venture with Barrick and Newmont. They drilled 10 grams per ton over 1.5 meters last year within a little bit broader interval that shows, okay, it's a grassroots discovery. Yeah. It's early and we need to see thicker grades. But
that was what they were looking for
exactly.
from the classic technical success.
Yep.
But that was a deep hole, hit what they were looking for. And if you were doing that on your own by as a junior and funding that, the company's gone because you can't afford to follow that up.
And it's really, I think that's a great point to make because, they spent about $3 million last year, give or take on that. They're going to spend $8 million this year, right? Because of that drill hole. So that they're one of the biggest, they've had some of the biggest successes and discoveries in Nevada history.
And they know what to look for.
They know exactly what they're looking for. And that hole was exactly what they were looking for. And so the ability, like you said, to ride through what would be a technical success and me unable to fund it, that's now seeing 3x almost spending being done this year. So I'm very excited about that. Salina is a proven discovery. We actually drilled 10,000 meters on it. It was Ridgeline's flagship asset. We just found through about 4 or 5 years of a tough market, it was getting harder and harder and harder to get shareholders excited to fund deep exploration. Even though we drilled up to 6 meters of 1,000 grams silver, it just wasn't quite enough to get the market excited. So we brought in South 32. It's the same style of deposit as the Taylor deposit in Arizona, which was a $2 billion takeout that actually South 32 acquired Arizona Mining. So again, what we do is we're very selective in our partners. We only do deals with a group that can take it from discovery to production, right? And in this case, South 32 was the ideal partner. They know exactly what they're looking for. They're putting the identical style of deposit into development right now at Taylor. And they feel that this is the best analog to the Taylor deposit they've seen since acquiring Taylor.
Yeah, and I thought that was interesting. We had talked earlier today, and I had thought Salina had developed into this new target, but you told me this was, and it is a deep-seated CRD target, but you had this in mind all along, which I really didn't realize.
We've been kind of standing on the soapbox for years, but, and we drilled one hole into the target, and it hit 3 meters of 600 grams silver. It was an RC hole. It essentially hit its max capacity of the hole. Market sold off on the news. 3 meters of 600 grams just wasn't enough to get folks excited. Yet again. Then you do the MT survey 2 years later after bringing in a group like South 32, who again saw that drill hole, saw what we'd done to de-risk the asset, and went, this just requires a couple more, a few small things, and we're onto it. So, I think we've been able to try to find a balance between bringing in good partners, de-risking assets. We also have our 100% owned projects.
Yeah, and you talk about the advantages of a prospect generator business model, and I am all for the hybrid approach. Don't look at prospect generation as a religion. Look at it as a business model. And when you have a project that you can build tremendous value, increase the value tremendously, or just simply make a discovery with affordable holes for a junior, then go ahead and do that. And you've got that.
Yeah, you kind of want to, I think you're right. You have to be flexible, right? And so in this difficult market we've been in, we leaned into the prospect generator model. We did deals, we acquired assets, and I think we built an incredible portfolio. And just to highlight, we're going to see $20 million being spent by our partners this year.
Yeah.
That's one of the largest exploration budgets of any 20 million market cap junior, which
that's your market cap.
It's 100% of our market cap is going in the ground this year. So, and then on top of that, then allows us to then raise a small amount of money that doesn't dilute the company too bad. And then we go after our 100% owned projects. And we've kind of saved, in our opinion, some of the best for last. We own them 100%. And if we hit at any one of them, it's incredible blue sky for them.
Let's talk briefly about that 100% on project, because that seems, you made a compelling story on stage a little while ago for that project. Can we rehash that?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's called Big Blue. We're actually start drilling there next week. This was a past-producing copper mine in the early 1900s in Nevada. They produced at an average grade of 6% copper, right? So, like I was saying on stage,
doesn't take a lot of tonnage to make build.
You can find a very exciting opportunity if you can find that kind of grade. No one's ever drilled beneath that to test for a porphyry target, and so obviously this copper didn't fall out of the sky; came from somewhere. What we're now doing is drilling under the existing mine. So it's not like we're breaking the wheel here. We're drilling under a known historic mine, testing the depths of it to see, okay, is there a porphyry source at depth? And if we're right, you look at some of the copper stories, A-Mark, Hercules Metals, that it can be an incredible opportunity for shareholders.
Especially considering where your company is right now and being 100% owned.
Yes.
And looking at the graphics you presented earlier on stage for that, it seems to me that's relatively high confidence target.
It is. Yeah. No, we've been working on it for 2 years, waiting for that right moment to raise the cash and go drill it. We have a lot of confidence in what we're seeing. The geophysics lines up with the geology. It lines up with the historic mine. It's all coming together to be a very exciting target. And on top of that, we also have an oxide gold play that we just announced in January. It's a 3-kilometer gold trend with up to 8 grams per ton rock chips at surface. It's never had a drill hole on it. Now in Nevada, that's like a unicorn, right? You just don't see that.
Yeah, you do not see that. And what are the plans for that?
So we're gonna drill 2 months at our Big Blue project, roughly 2,000 meters. We're gonna immediately go to this project and drill about 5 holes, totaling roughly, call it 800 meters oxide. So what we're trying to do is find that balance. We're chasing a very conceptual but high confidence target at Big Blue. And when you're talking about exploration and the size of the prize, cost of the test, kind of that approach. Well, the size of the prize at Big Blue is as big as it gets, right? But the cost of the test is a little higher. At this other project, we have this great balance where we can walk on the ground and step on 8 gram per ton rock and go, okay, I want to put a hole here, but the cost of the test is very small. But yet the upside could be incredible. And I think looking at your gold charts today, it's like, oh man, if we make a gold discovery heading into what looks like the biggest bull run we've had in decades. It could be a perfect storm for us. So
it is. And that bigger picture right now is that we have metals, where we have gold at least at record highs far above previous record highs, and the juniors are not priced accordingly. So it's an extraordinary opportunity for the investor as they play catch up. So very briefly, let's talk about catalysts coming up.
So just big picture, we're going to see 5 projects drilled this year. 2 owned by us, 3 by our partners, $20 million budget across all 5. You're going to see drills turning at a Ridgeline project from March 3rd all the way to December of this year. So you're going to see drill catalysts every single month from a new project. I think it's one of those years where I think this is our turning point. I think we're going to announce a couple discoveries this year.
Lots of news coming from a lot of projects in the right place. Chad, thank you so much for giving us a story on Ridgeline Metals.